My name is Emilie Mazzacurati. I am founding partner of Tailwinds Futures. We are a venture fund focused on climate adaptation and resilience technologies, and I will be your host for this session. And it's very special for me to be the host of this session. I was a fellow myself in 2014. I'm still part of the Cartier Women's Initiative community. At the time, I was founder and CEO of a startup called 427, where we helped corporations and financial institutions understand the physical impacts of climate change on their assets. Like many other fellows and women entrepreneurs, I started my company without any formal business training or even a clear business plan, but I had a vision and a passion. Being a founder and leader of a startup is grueling. It's incredibly empowering and impactful, but it's hard work. It requires you to learn 10 different jobs that you'd never know you'd have. It's intense pressure, and sometimes, as we'll hear, it doesn't just work out. Entrepreneurship is exhilarating, but it's also incredibly challenging. And for me, the support that I received from the Cartier Women's Initiative and the validation in the very early stage of my entrepreneurial journey was critical in giving me the stamina and the rigor to push through and grow my business. I eventually sold it to a Fortune 500 corporation, and I'm now pursuing my vision as an investor, driving capital and investing into early stage climate adaptation and resilience technology startups. So I'm still part of the entrepreneurial community, and this is very much part of the Cartier spirit, is continuing to pursue your passion and your vision in different roles. The Cartier Women's Initiative finds women with incredible passion, talent, vision, business acumen, and I'm proud to be part of this community, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Cartier Women's Initiative and the founders who are presenting tonight. It all started with a vision, a world in which every woman, impact entrepreneur driving change, can achieve her full potential. The Cartier Women's Initiative program targets women impact entrepreneurs who are in the missing middle. They have secured traction with their business and impact model, but they find it hard to scale due to a larger size and achieve greater impact due to a fundamental disparity between their specific needs and available funding. Their impact business are often too big for microfinance, too small or too high risk for bank loans at this stage, or they have different growth, return, and exit potentials than those that venture capitalists seek. What began as an annual one-off award has evolved into a standalone program designed to shine a light on women impact entrepreneurs and provide them with the financial, social, and human capital they need to grow their business and strengthen their leadership. At the Cartier Women's Initiative, we support impact entrepreneurs around the world through regional and thematic awards. Fellows join a lifelong community of changemakers with access to learning, mentorship, and meaningful connections that support their leadership and business growth. We also elevate their voices through storytelling, data, and research to inspire broader change. There are 10 program categories, 9 regional awards, and 1 award that recognizes women entrepreneurs at the forefront of scientific and technological innovation. Some key figures. We have supported 330 women impact entrepreneurs across 66 countries in the last 20 years and provided 13.7 million USD in financial capital. So for today, let me set the stage for the showcase. 9 fellows have been thoughtfully selected to showcase the power of business as a force for good. Each fellow will present for 4 minutes under a core theme. The 3 themes are creating opportunities, improving lives, and preserving the planet. They are anywhere between pre-seed and Series A, and many of them are seeking funding. The session will conclude with a special fireside with a 10th fellow highlighting a compelling story of collaboration and resilience. After the presentation, please stick around. We have the room for 20 minutes for networking, and this is a chance to meet with the fellows and to meet with the Cartier Women's Initiative team. So let's get going. The first theme is creating opportunities. I'm going to introduce 4 inspiring fellows who are breaking down barriers across gender disparities, education, and accessibility, all for a more equitable future. The first one, Ana Lucia Cepeda Ferrara, is the founder and CEO of Bolsa Rosa, an impact-driven company tackling gender inequality by unlocking the untapped talent of moms and caregivers, enabling their reintegration in the workforce. Ana grew up thinking work could adapt to family life, as her mother worked part-time. But in the workforce, she saw how rare that was, especially in Mexico, but also in the US. She set out to change how society views women, work, and family. After Ana Lucia, we'll have Komal Dadlani, who's co-founder and CEO of Lab4U. Lab4U democratizes STEM by transforming smartphone sensors into hands-on labs, using AI to personalize learning and inspire tomorrow's workforce. Komal noticed that many schools in Latin America lacked access to science equipment due to high costs, which she often describes as learning to ride a bike by reading about it. It doesn't work. This inspired her to make hands-on science experiments accessible, so we'll hear more about that. Then we'll hear from Dora Palfi, who's co-founder and CEO of Imagi. Imagi builds the AI education and preparedness layer for cutting-edge tools like Lovable, empowering the next generation. When Dora worked in various large tech companies, she often found herself the only woman in the room. What started as a way to draw girls into coding has turned into a venture that empowers all kids to reimagine the future with technology. The fourth fellow under this theme is Adriana Matafont-Cuberta, who's co-founder and CEO of Agile Impacts. Agile Impacts is a specialist in impact measurement, dedicated to making social impact visible, measurable, and scalable across 26 countries. While the stories behind social impact businesses inspire, they are not enough. Investors, partners, and clients look for data, and that's where Adriana come in. I'm going to step away from the stage for a few minutes while the fellows present and be back for the next theme. Please help me welcome Ana Lucia to the stage.
I'm Ana Lucia, as I mentioned, from Bolsa Rosa. 14 years ago, my dad passed away in a car accident. It was an unexpected death. And that day my dad passed away, our lives changed forever, as you can imagine. But this tragedy ended up only as an emotional loss. Thankfully, it did not turn into an economic crisis as well. And that was thanks to my mother. My mom, she has worked all her life, and when we were born, me and my sisters, she was able to negotiate a part-time job, a part-time working scheme. So I grew up with the example of a working mom. And when my dad passed away, I witnessed the importance of women's economic participation. Because today in Mexico and Latin America, according to INEGI and other sources, 8 out of 10 moms leave the workforce after having their second baby. And only 3 out of 10 are able to re-enter the workspace in a formal manner. So that's why we have to untap the largest hidden talent reservoir in the world, the woman, because it's a huge market opportunity. If we had gender equality in the workforce, the GDP would increase $2.6 trillion a year, and also it will be a 34% increase. And also only in Latin America, we have over 15 million women in their working age that are educated professionally, that are out of the workforce. So that's why I started Bolsa Rosa. It's the first and only AI and tech-enabled talent marketplace to connect moms and caregivers, the women and caregivers in Latin America. We help companies connect with this talent and for this talent of the women to re-enter the workforce in a formal way and a faster way. And we achieve this through our AI-powered B2B career site and job platform, and also our online returnship programs to help this woman get back to work successfully. And so you have an idea of what we do. Only last month, we started a program with the government, the Secretary of Economy back in Mexico. They sponsored the program Back to Work to help 50 moms re-enter the workforce, and we're helping them train and get ready for this to happen as right now. And also, we had our online job fair called Back to School, Back to Work to boost employment in 2 weeks, where we had a dozen companies, as you see here, and they posted hundreds of job offers, and thousands of candidates registered. And we had an incredible interaction and engagement with the audience, with these two audiences, the companies looking to hire and the candidates looking for a job. So we have proven track record. We've grown bootstrapped organically over the years, but we still had hundreds of thousands of candidates registered, 11,000 program graduates. We've had jobs, open new jobs, and fulfill these jobs, and we have our own developed technology and software. And most importantly, we've linked over 8,000 women in jobs through Bolsa Rosa. They have found a job through us, which we have generated over $100 million a year in new income for families every year. And well, each time a mom gets a job, or a woman gets a job, it's a new income earned for that family. Because what we do is a paycheck that pays forward. As any mom that works here would know, that we reinvest over 90% of our earnings back into our families and for better opportunities for our children. So we've proven our model works, and now it's time to amplify our reach. We're looking for a $1.5 million blended capital investment, and especially mission-aligned partners that are looking to scaling this talent marketplace and our returnship programs across Latin America and everything around. Also to unlock employability and generate over $200 million in new income for families. And to boost workforce participation with gender equality at scale. When we invest in women, we don't just change one life, we shift the entire economy. So let's shift the economy together. Thank you.
My name is Komal Dadlani. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Lab4U, where we are democratizing access to quality STEM education and building the future of the workforce in STEM. I was born in Chile, and during my science education, science was taught in a very theoretical way, full of formulas, etc. And we know for a fact that there is an unmet STEM talent need for the future of the workforce, especially in Latin America and the world, where corporations and industries need STEM talent workforce, but students lack interest in STEM. For a fact, we know that more than 70% of the jobs of the future will be related to STEM in one way or the other, but unfortunately only 16% of students decide to pursue a STEM-related career, and we know for a fact that we lack diversity in STEM. So to solve this problem and bridge the gap between the industry's needs and students' interest also in STEM comes Lab4U, where we are increasing students' engagement in science and building that interest in a more engaging way. And how do we do that? We transform smartphones and tablets into complete science labs, into complete STEM labs, transforming these sensors like the camera, the accelerometer, the gyroscope into a lab. And here you can see a quick demo of how students are actually experimenting hands-on using the camera of the phone, the accelerometer. They're calculating the concentration of a colored solution with our patented technology that uses computer vision and replaces an expensive colorimeter. They're analyzing distance and displacement, and they're graphing it in real time, or analyzing centripetal acceleration. So here students are actually experimenting hands-on with a lab in their pockets. And in that way, we're aiming to close this gap. We've implemented our programs in Chile, Mexico, and Colombia, reaching thousands of students. We've proven to increase grades in physics and reduce dropout rates. And a third-party validated impact report funded by the Inter-American Development Bank and RCT proved that students who run more than 3 experiments with Lab4U increase their knowledge, their self-perception of knowledge, and most importantly, their interest to pursue a STEM-related career. We know that the market market is a high-growing market, especially as the needs of STEM grow. We have a competitive landscape in all the lab environment because we're not virtual labs. We're real hands-on labs where students can experiment, and we're not those expensive lab equipment either. We're a committed, diverse team wanting to give opportunities to all students across the world. We believe that the next Einstein or Marie Curie can be anywhere in the world, and that's why we're giving everyone the opportunity to have a lab in their pockets. Thank you very much.
Let's start with a question. Who runs the world? Of course, all the amazing women, especially here, who are building impact businesses. But for the purpose of this presentation, it's also increasingly so code and really AI that runs the world now. And to me, that's one of the most empowering things we can do today to help young people understand this sort of invisible force that's shaping our future. And at the same time, it's one of the most dangerous and patronizing things when the leaders of this industry tell kids, you don't need to worry about this, you don't need to learn how this works, let AI take care of it. That's how people lose agency when they stop understanding things. Just last week, there was this huge AWS outage. I feel like when you know that this is just technology, this is not magic, not a black box, then all of these things become less scary. So I find it extremely important that everyone understands how code works. But today, it's really like a limited amount of people who get to do that. And when it's only a small group who gets to use technology, they will have a disproportionate amount of power to shape our future. And I don't know about you, but that's not the type of world I want to live in. I want to make sure that everyone, regardless their zip code, regardless their background, get to understand what code is, what AI is. So that's really our mission at Imagi. When we started Imagi, we first began with computer science and have built a really fun tool to teach about computer science through creating art, especially for younger students in middle school and upper elementary school. We've created a tool that teachers love to teach with, students love to learn with. We get feedback like, students continued to code when there was a fire drill in the, in the parking lot. And beyond that, we're also starting to do more and more, hard number impact measurement. We've reached a large scale of over 400,000 learners with 4.8 star ranking and 3 consecutive months of being app of the day in the App Store this past summer. And also, 100% of teachers surveyed report that their students' confidence increased in technology. We've put together a great team to actually achieve this mission. Me and my co-founder come from a STEM background and bonded over our shared passion for equity back in college. We also recently been joined by a new chief growth officer who is an exited AdTech founder and have amazing, very relevant angel investors from, for example, GitHub and OpenAI, really shaping the future of this industry. But our world looks very different today than a couple of years ago when I started Imagi. Just last week, I talked to a 14-year-old who told me, first asked me if I know the movie Clueless. And I was a bit scared first that she's referencing something that only young people know about. But she was talking about the 90s movie, so I was really relieved. And she was talking about this closet that was sort of just science fiction for me back in the days. In the movie, this was a closet that a teenage girl had that helped her pick out an outfit. And so this 14-year-old told me that she just used AI to build that app. And so today, that's really just a prompt with AI. And that's sort of like the next frontier of what we're building. So we're partnering with a tool called Lovable, which is one of the fastest growing AI tools out there that lets kids build, or people build with AI and write code. And we're bringing that tool to young learners and creating the content around it. And so with all the tailwinds behind us and this new frontier, we're now raising $5 million to help us build out this education layer of the AI industry. Thank you.
My name is Adriana Mata, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Agile Impacts. I'm an engineer, and I've been a social impact entrepreneur since I was 17 years old. But today, I came to say an ugly truth, which is impact measurement is broken. If you see any impact report, you will see something like this. 50 pages of pure text and images, the typical SDG contributions, but if you count the number of real impact indicators that you can compare with other reports, 0. I have more than 10 years working in trying to make impact measurement more accessible to all organizations in the world through technology. And after 10 years, it really frustrates me that I hear this in every event. We need more impact measurement. So what is happening that we cannot solve this problem? So if you look closer, it seems like everyone is measuring something, at least, but no one is able to compare. So we know we have to break this problem into pieces because the challenge for the companies is not the same that for capital allocators. So we started with the founders and we asked them, what do you need to get more impact data? And you know what they answered? You know, we are surviving. The only KPI I have in my mind is cash flow. So we know we had to connect impact measurement to a real problem of the company, which is fundraising and sales, of course. So we started to develop a technology to gather social impact data with very accessible tools like WhatsApp. We have to help the founders to get to all the barriers they will face, but also, and most important, to have a clear purpose for data use, which was applying to grants. So we got something like this, you know, a report with more numbers, less text, but most important, to real value for the companies, because it was really aligned to the business strategy and they got really concrete funding opportunities to grants. And the good news is that this is working. We now have more than 1,300 users across 50 countries. But now we have to solve the other part of the capital side, the investors. So when we ask them, what do you need? They say, you know, we must benchmark with existing data because there's no room for more measurement. At least they were honest, you know? And this is a much more complicated problem. That's why we borrow an algorithm from astrophysics that clusters stars to cluster impact data and make the comparison possible. And that's how we created an AI-powered benchmark platform designed to measure and compare impact with the data that companies already have. So when IDB came to us with this challenge with 500 investment operations and more than 4,000 indicators, our AI was able to harmonize this into 35 indicators with 90% accuracy. And why this is so important now? Because before AI, the only way to make comparison possible were through standards. But we know that every year a new framework is coming, a new standard is coming, and it's not solving the problem. So our proposal is, let the companies measure however it's valuable for their business, and we take care about the comparison. So in that way, if you can compare, you can compete. So what we're saying is, that's the incentive they have to own their data and to grow their impact data. And then, and only then, a real market for impact will exist, as MSCI did it for finance in the 70s. So if you want to benchmark, if you want to build capacities, if you want to invest in our technology, or at least if you think that impact measurement needs to be fixed, go to this QR today and join the initiative. Thank you very much.
That was awesome. I'm excited to move on to the next 4 fellows in the theme Improving Lives. So I'm going to introduce 4 visionary fellows who have developed community-centered solutions, all driving impact through technology to generate sustainable change. The first fellow is Sadriye Gorece, who's co-founder of BlindLook. BlindLook makes products and services comprehensible to the blind via an AI-powered audio-based platform. There is a big communication gap between brands and the visually impaired community. Brands often treat them as a responsibility, not as consumers. As a result, they are overlooked and underserved, and BlindLook is here to change that. The next fellow is Yvette Ishimwe, who's the CEO of IRIBA Water Group. IRIBA Water Group develops innovative climate-smart water solutions, transforming African livelihoods with safe, sustainable, clean water access. When Yvette's family moved from Kigali to a rural village, she saw firsthand that half of Rwandans face every day no access to safe drinking water, expensive and hard to find. And this is when she started looking for a solution, and we'll hear about that solution. Then we'll hear from Dr. Sanna Gaspard, who's founder and CEO of Rubitection. Rubitection's AI platform improves care access and early detection of wounds, cardiovascular and derm conditions in a 40 billion underserved healthcare market. As a woman working in high-tech fields, Sanna sometimes goes months without seeing another woman entrepreneur and finds it challenging to break the barriers, but now she's on her path to what is set out to be a massive market. The last fellow in this section is Nguyen, founder and CEO of DrKumo, Inc. DrKumo, Inc. is an AI-powered remote digital health solution, enabling real-time monitoring and timely interventions for patients and providers nationwide. Kelly remembers heartbreaking stories of a mother who spent all her savings on medication for her sick child, only for the child to die because the drugs were counterfeit. She's changing that by putting the power in patients' hands. So let's give a hand for the fellows in Improving Lives, and Sadriye, if you can come to the stage.
I'm Sadriye Gorece, co-founder of BlindLook. And I was born and raised in Turkey. It's a very overprotective culture. If you're blind, anyone wants to do anything you can imagine for you. It's almost impossible to be independent. In high school, with a scholarship from Department of State, I made my way to the US. And that was the biggest milestone of my life because I gained my independence, my potential. I was not all about blindness. I got rid of you cannot because you're blind, to okay, you're blind, why not to do? And that's the foundation of BlindLook. With my co-founders' passion of entrepreneurship and my passion of independence for the blind became BlindLook. I have a question. When I say accessibility, independence, what comes to your mind? If you say Braille, can you clap your hands? If you say technology, clap your hands. Yes. Only 12% of blind people know Braille. 90% of blind people are capable to use technology and easily adapt to technology. And BlindLook uses AI and audio to make life accessible, understandable for me. What I mean, using a website, mobile app with a screen reader program, or taking a photo of a washing machine and figuring out how to set the program with AI and audio. We are serving 285 million visually impaired people around the world. That's important because these people are living in a world that's not designed for them. Only 20% of life is accessible for me if BlindLook doesn't exist. And with the brands we are working, we call them I brands because they are being I to the blind community with our technology. We are making life accessible for them. We are working with Amazon, Uber, Google, Bosch, many brands you can imagine, enterprise companies. And we create a community with them. Every year, we organize iBrand ceremony event and iBrand map report. And with Amazon, we have a case study. Before us, average shopping completion time was 42 minutes for a blind person. With us, it became 6 minutes. And there are a lot of case studies like this. And our community is growing. I hope blindness will become a small difference with technology, not a barrier. If you want to talk about what we do more, we can connect on LinkedIn. Thank you.
My name is Yvette Ishimwe, and I'm the founder and CEO of IRIBA Water Group. I'm from Rwanda, and IRIBA Water Group is a social enterprise that exists to ensure that every human in Africa has access to safe drinking water. In Rwanda alone, 7 out of 10 people drink water that is not safe. Imagine sending your child at school and you know that this kid will not have safe drinking water access throughout the day. That's the reality for millions of children, both in Rwanda, and more than 140 million children across sub-Saharan Africa with no access to safe drinking water. And lack of this basic need means waterborne diseases, means there is that impact on health, impact on education outcomes, because kids will miss millions of school days every year due to water-related illnesses. And so at IRIBA Water Group, we thought there should be a better way to address this problem. And so we created IRIBA Tap and Drink, which is an innovation, a solution where we deploy smart water ATMs in schools, in communities that purify water, any source of water. It could be rainwater, it could be borehole-fed water, any type of source, and make it safe for drinking. It's a certified system with ISO certification that it provides drinkable water that is safe for human consumption. And so we've proven our traction. We've proven that this solution can work, and we want to deploy more of this. We currently have more than 250 water ATMs deployed across schools and communities, and we are now on the program to deploy 2,500 water ATMs across the country, reaching over 2 million people with safe drinking water. And we do more than water access. With these water ATMs, particularly in communities, we also create jobs, because each water ATM deployed in a community is run by a youth or a woman through a franchise model. And so that means creating employment opportunities for people who were otherwise unemployed. And it means also education outcomes improved. In the schools we serve, we've seen 37% increase in kids attending more because of the drop of waterborne diseases. And so also we do create the technical jobs around it, because these water ATMs that we deploy are maintained, and this means new jobs for youth. So we are raising $2.7 million to deploy these 2,500 water ATMs, which will reach more than 2 million people. So that means at a cost of $1.3 per person, these people have access to drinkable water for the next 10 years. And we welcome you to join us to deploy this life-changing solution to more people, to more children. And let's make this basic necessity no longer a luxury, but reachable to every human, as it should. Thank you so much.
Rubitection is developing a wound care solution and for skin and health management. My name is Dr. Sanna Gaspard. I'm the CEO and founder of Rubitection. I've applied my PhD to develop an optical tool for skin health and perfusion monitoring to help improve access, to help address the health disparity with skin assessment, and to reduce overall cost in a $40 billion market where our initial beachhead market is chronic wounds, where we can improve care for patients like John. John survived open heart surgery, but came out of it with the beginning of inflammation on his bottom. It would quickly advance to a severe bed sore where his skin was gone, his bone was exposed, and it would ultimately lead to his passing once it got infected, while adding an additional $500,000 to his cost of care. Our solution could have saved his life. However, John is just one of the 2 million Americans who will develop this preventable condition every year, 60,000 of whom will die needlessly, while costing the US healthcare system over $26 billion each year, while being a major pain point for hospital systems that can lead to litigation and lack of payment of care from Medicare. At Rubitection, we're addressing this problem at its core, the early diagnostic test that's manual and unreliable that can lead to misdiagnosis and unnecessary care and does not work on people of color. At Rubitection, we're addressing this problem with the Rubitect assessment system. It's a patented optical device that allows any user to monitor the early signs of inflammation and track advanced wound development. We do that by combining AI image processing with optical measurements of the skin to make a physical measurement of the inflammation clinicians currently monitor with their eye. We then process that to develop customized patient care plans and enable remote monitoring, improving access, allowing patients to reduce their incidence of wounds and infections, improve their quality of life, and reduce costs by over 96% through early intervention. Compared to our competition, we're lower in cost, easier to use, and more comprehensive. This will allow us to dominate a $4.3 billion US market, where our initial entry point is into hospital markets, but our long-term goal is home care. We sell the product using a razor blade business model, where we sell the device and make recurring revenue from a disposable cover. And we have a clear plan to this market. We're currently focused on product, and before moving on to manufacturing, initial beta sales, with the goal of fully launching with the support of strategic sales and distribution partners. With those partners, we can quickly grow to over $700 million in 6 to 7 years using a hybrid sales model. And we've already began building out that beta clinical pipeline, as well as engaging with corporate partners who've provided letters of interest. To date, we've already raised $2 million. We've used that to build an initial product concept, begin building out our AI models, and tested the solution on various skin tones to show that it works on everyone, opening us up to the broader global market. The team behind Rubitection includes myself. I'm the CEO and founder. Dr. Hines develops our custom algorithms. We've surrounded ourselves with experts in the field, ranging from regulatory, clinical wound care expertise, and medical device operations, as well as having a dedicated clinical advisory team that supports the work around dermatology, wound care, and critical patient care. As a team, we're excited to bring this solution to market to improve access, reduce the health disparity, as well as lowering cost, while building a profitable company, because the large players in this space innovate through acquisition at 3 to 7x revenue. To achieve this goal, we're currently raising $5 million in seed financing to turn our current prototype into a product that's FDA approved, to do additional patient testing, as well as to start building out that clinical pipeline. So with that will help us get one step closer to market, where we can do well while doing good, because no one should have to die from a preventable wound. We will all be at risk as we age. And with our solution, we can empower anyone with minimal training to detect this condition early, track it to advanced wound development, to help save 60,000 lives every year, as well as the 85 million people who will be at risk in the next 25 years as our aging population ages. So join us in doing well. Come and talk to me if you know anyone who might be interested in investment. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kelly Nguyen. I'm from DrKumo Inc. We are a digital health technology company. Have you ever given a real elevator pitch and actually watched it work? Well, I have. It had happened right here at SOCAP 2022, 3 years ago. And on the way down the elevator, I said to an investor, I bring care to patients' homes through remote patient monitoring, home telehealth, so clinicians can see what matters, hear what patients feel, and act in real time. He smiled and said, the state of California is launching a caregiver grant. Take a look. And so we did. And in less than a year, we were able to train 8,500 caregivers in more than 350 cities. That elevator ride ignited a spark that turned into my life's work. At DrKumo, we asked ourselves, what if healthcare didn't have to wait for patients to walk through a door? So we built a system that lets patients with chronic conditions like diabetes, hypertension, heart diseases, connect with their doctors every single day, right from the comforts of their homes. We give them easy-to-use medical devices that send data instantly and securely to the clinicians before small issues turned into emergencies. That means care moves from reactive to proactive, from episodic to continuous, and from clinic-centered to home-centered. It means that patients can live freely and still be seen, heard, and cared for. But the truth is, technology alone doesn't change healthcare. Adoption does. And clinics are busy, clinicians are exhausted, and patients are scared to try something new. So we didn't just build software, we built a human framework. Simple workflows, empathy-driven training, and education that makes technology approachable. So after years of persistence, DrKumo was awarded a $1 billion contract with the US Department of Veterans Affairs, along with 3 other partners, to serve the nation's veterans. Thank you. That means everything to us. And so I just wanted to share, these are our team from the VA Secretary of the VA and the 17th Surgeon General on our advisory board. But my journey started far from this stage. I came from a humble beginning where food was scarce, but love was abundant. I was raised by my grandparents and my father back in Vietnam. And also my mentors along the way had always taught me, if you keep showing up, work with your heart, and stay ready, opportunities will come and will find you. And so I just wanted to say thank you to Cartier's Women's Initiative, to SOCAP, to Yigao. I don't know where you are, Yigao, right there, down there, JFF Ventures that I met in the elevator 3 years ago. And our partners who've given us this chance. It's been more than 8 years since I've begun, and more than 13 years it's been the journey, and I wouldn't have made it without the people who've supported me along the way. And so if this resonates with you, please reach out to me at kelly@drkumo.com. And if you can write about us, partner with us, so we could make a greater impact by bringing care home. Thank you.
Amazing. $1 billion contract and everything else before. Just really inspiring. In this last category, preserving the planet, we have just the one fellow today. So I'm introducing a fellow who is disrupting her industry, putting people and the planet first. Diana Yousef Martinek is founder and CEO of Change Water Labs. Change Water Labs is using NASA-inspired technology to enable a waste evaporating toilet for low-cost, waterless, sewerless sanitation. Globally, 2.6 billion people lack access to safe toilets, and 1 billion still defecate in the open. In many underserved communities, people live among their own waste, with no toilets, no pipes, and no way to flush. Diana's business is tackling this critical issue. Please join me in welcoming Diana to the stage.
A few years ago, I was working for NASA looking at how to recycle wastewater on the space station. And what I realized was that just like in space, there are a lot of places on Earth that do a really bad job of getting rid of sewage. So actually, the number is more like 4.2 billion people. That's half of us lack access to a safe, clean toilet. And that's because they live in places with no sewage plumbing, so they can't flush. Additionally, 80% of human waste is dumped into the environment untreated. So, poor sanitation poisons people and the planet. It causes 80% of infectious disease spread and 4% of all deaths globally. It's smothering 2/3 of our coral reefs and contributing to climate change by spewing out methane and nitrous oxide, which are 30 and 300 times worse than carbon dioxide. But the problem is that the alternative, sewage sanitation, is never going to be feasible for billions of people. So with exploding urban expansion, coupled with increasing water scarcity, that means 2 billion people, that's 1/3 of people living in cities, are going to have a non-sewer toilet or a non-flush toilet. So the private and public sectors already spend $19 billion per year on non-sewer toilets, but none of the current alternatives are going to keep communities clean or curb climate change. So during my NASA work, I had the idea for a toilet that makes waste basically disappear. The key insight is that human waste is 95% water. So instead of flushing it, why don't we just evaporate it? The iThrone is a low-cost, waterless, sewerless toilet that evaporates or shrinks waste. The iThrone collects waste in bags made of a novel breathable material that we call shrink wrap for crap. These bags quickly soak up the liquid water content of human waste and by pulling it through the membrane material, convert that liquid water into pure water vapor, basically evaporating it, but without using any heat. This allows 95% of the waste to be eliminated in just one day and stops the process of sewage conversion into greenhouse gases. So 2 pilots over 2 years have served 16,000 uses and have proven to reduce collected waste by 97%. They're low energy enough to be run completely off-grid. Because they don't need a hookup to water or sewer, they're 500 to 300 times cheaper to install than alternatives. And while comparable toilets have to be emptied every day, the iThrone is emptied every 1 to 4 months, which shrinks collection costs by 30 to 100 times. So the iThrone has the potential to have outsized social and environmental impact. In just 1 year, one iThrone will reduce disease exposure for a community of 1,000 people, will conserve 1,000 bathtubs worth of clean water, will eliminate 24 bathtubs worth of waste, and will avoid GHG emissions equivalent to burning 125,000 pounds of coal per year. That's just literally one iThrone in 1 year. So you can imagine the amplification. We're currently working on a deployment of 100 iThrone toilets to the city of Santa Fe, New Mexico for a homeless housing development. And we've already attracted $750,000 in deployment contracts and interest or LOIs inbound for 6,000 units from construction firms, portable sanitation or portable toilet companies, municipalities, and NGOs. We're currently raising a seed round of $3 million. We're welcoming equity or grant. The idea is to scale up our production and achieve our commercialization and market launch by 2027. And we're looking for partners to help us to get safe and sustainable sanitation to more people in more places at lower cost. So please come talk to me if you have any help. Bye.
Thank you, Diana. That was amazing. Our 10th fellow coming on stage in just a minute is Mimi Wu. Mimi is co-founder and CEO of Moss. Moss is building a cult bamboo diaper brand on a mission to eliminate toxic chemicals and plastics from baby care products. Now, this is a little different because Mimi is a CWI fellow, like I was, from a number of years ago for a previous company, which she'll tell us about as well. So she's just starting this new venture, and she's coming to tell us about it. What's interesting is that she's starting this new venture with another CWI fellow that she met through the Cartier Women's Initiative community. So we'll talk about that. It's exciting to see this story of collaboration within the Cartier Women's Initiative community, where 2 fellows from different regions and editions, cohorts, vintages, came together to build something new. And so I'd like to invite Mimi to join me on stage, and we're going to have a little fireside chat. Hi.
Hello.
When we first met, we didn't know we'd be doing this a few years down the road. So thanks for being here, and please tell us about yourself and your journey so far.
Okay, yeah, Cliff Notes version, but it all started in 2012 when I was like, I'm gonna solve the plastic pollution crisis. And I didn't know anything about plastics or recycling or entrepreneurship at all. So naturally, I was like, let me set up an industrial scale collection and recycling company for the hardest plastic in the world to recycle, which are dirty plastic bags. and let me do it in a completely foreign country, which was Myanmar. So that was pretty tough. And I operated, I mean, that's an understatement. I operated for several years, and during that time, I was one of the only recyclers for that waste stream. And I operated until the military coup in 2021. And during that time, I was able to recycle 4 million pounds of plastic waste, which sounds like a lot, but to be honest, is like a drop in the bucket compared to how much we actually produce, which is 900 billion pounds of plastic every single year. And that gap disparity is what led me to creating Moss.
This gives you a flavor for what to expect from fellows. All right, so tell us about Moss.
Yeah, I want you to imagine a world where every single baby is protected from birth by nature, right? So where everyday essentials are improving the health of babies or protecting it, or at the very least not harming, right? And where all single-use items are decomposing not in centuries, but in months and years. And I know that's kind of hard to imagine because the current reality is so far from that. I mean, our current reality, the default is we are wrapping babies in single-use plastic that contains 60 toxic chemicals, not regulated, guys. Then we're wiping babies with more chemicals. I love seeing the head nods here. And we're calling it something healthy, right? And so, yeah, this is this future that we've imagined, this healthier world, it's something that we're not only imagining at Moss, but we've created the solutions for it.
And so what's the solution?
Yeah. So we're, as Emilie shared, we're going to be the next cult diaper brand. We are protecting baby skin and health with our premium bamboo diapers and wet wipes. So we're not using any toxic chemicals. We are minimal to no plastic. We're using plant-based ingredients. We are not deforesting any trees, which no other diaper company in the world can say that right now. And we are building a tribe of parents, we already have them, who we are transparent with, no BS, no greenwashing. That's really important for me and my co-founder. So with our products, they're safe, they're good for the planet, and also importantly, we're not asking you to compromise at all on the performance, and our products actually perform the same or better than market leaders.
And if you see a theme here, I will editorialize here to say it's not the first time that I see that women are actually the one taking care of stuff that other people don't want to take care of. So fellows, not afraid to take care of your business. So in your case, what inspired you to focus on this industry?
Yeah, and you alluded to this before. So my co-founder and I were both Cartier Women Initiative Fellows from our previous companies, and we met in December in Ireland, which was really great. So for me, as I kind of alluded to, I realized with my work that we simply cannot recycle our way out of the plastic pollution crisis. And the only real solution is to actually turn off the tap on plastic production. This is super important because the microplastics, which we're literally eating, drinking, breathing, like right now in this room probably, which is kind of scary, but it's completely disrupting our bodies and the planet. We know that there are 16,000 chemicals in plastics, and 25% of them are hazardous. And what this is doing to children is delaying cognitive and motor development. For us as adults, it's degrading us. And then for babies as well, with diapers, with plastic diapers, it's creating diaper rash, which is completely preventable but super painful. Right? And then for my co-founder, Kira, she's the queen of bamboo. So she was one of the first to bring sustainable bamboo mainstream in 2015. She patented actually post-surgical lingerie for women with breast cancer. And she did clinical studies which prove the healing properties of bamboo, which are things like super antimicrobial, hypoallergenic, super absorbent, odor neutralizing. And then on the environmental side as well, we know that it sucks 5 times more carbon than out of the environment than trees. And unlike a tree, bamboo is grass. So every time you cut it, it grows back again, which is great. Unlike cotton, for example, uses very minimal water and no pesticides or fertilizers. So for her, what's really important is ending tree deforestation and ending the planting of soil-degrading crops like cotton, and then replacing that with sustainable bamboo.
And so this is a new venture. So where are you at and what's next?
Yeah, it was really exciting. So we started early in the year. A lot has happened. We have a fully designed product. We've market tested it already with parents who love it. They're raving about it. They love that it's super absorbent, better than market leaders. It's clearing up rashes, which is really important too. 2/3 of babies globally have diaper rash. We're also seeing that they love that it's non-toxic, and it holds up to very active children as well. And then the wet wipes, we knew it was a good product, but it's kind of a sleeper of a hit as well. All plant-based materials and ingredients, but they love the functionality, the one-by-one, especially for parents when they're really busy, they're holding a wriggling baby. Like, that convenience factor is so important. And then it cleans up babies really, really well. You can kind of imagine what that means. So we're taking all this data, we've applied for a patent. We are fundraising $1 million, blended capital. We're going to be using that money to launch the product. We're going to go direct to consumer. And what's really exciting for all the investors in the room, we are actually, with even very conservative customer acquisition targets, we are cash positive in month 4 of year 1, which is crazy. And the reason for that is because diapers are an essential item. They're recession-proof. They have a very predictable spend and a very predictable lifetime of that spend. So for us, for our current investors, the people on our team, like, Moss is really a no-brainer. For parents, they love it. It's a home run of a product. It's serving planet, it's serving babies, and yeah, we're gonna be $1 billion company, so come and chat with us. Like, get your checkbooks out, and come and feel the product. I have it with me as well. I'm also in the marketplace, so thank you very much.
Thank you. So, take it from the woman who ran an industrial scale recycling facility in Myanmar. She can build a diaper company. With that, we have the room for 20 minutes for networking. So please stay with us. The fellows are here. They'd love to talk to you. We also have the Cartier Women's Initiatives here. Thank you for organizing this, and thank you for being with us today. Thank you.